So I want to get you guys' opinion on this. This has been something I've been mentioning in a few videos recently about the sentiment among the voters in Chicago. And it's not just really one segment of the voting population here. It's really all constituencies now. I've been seeing a lot of the resources, go to the migrants that are coming in. They just set aside another $70 million for that. And, like I had mentioned before, a lot of the black voters, too, are particularly upset about this because the white community here and even the Latino community has gotten a lot of resources in the past, but the black community especially has been starved of resources, and this is going back generations, ever since really they've got here. Here and there, every once in a while, there's been some politician that's made an arrangement with some businessman or group of businessmen to establish something in their neighborhoods, but it's nowhere near enough, and it's nowhere near what other communities have gotten. So, they, like I said, elect these politicians, the Democratic politicians consistently. Recently, over the last generation or so, a lot of black politicians as well. And yet they're still seeing these resources go to other communities. And now they're watching these resources go to people that are not even American citizens. Now, I told you guys before, I'm for helping everybody else out, anybody that you can. But it's like I said, you got to feed your own family before you feed strangers. And, these black voters that are voicing these opinions, these are American citizens whose ancestors built the country. I mean, they've been here longer than anybody. So they came to a city council meeting, a bunch of them, the last city council meeting. I don't think I've ever seen it before here in Chicago, at least not in an organized manner and those type of numbers. They were wearing like MAGA gear, and some of them were wearing like Make America Great Again. Some of them were wearing Make Chicago Great Again. They were wearing red shirts saying no more blue, go red. And they were voicing what I was just telling you guys to basically the city council, that, look, okay, it's fine to, take care of other people, but like, what about us? Like our neighborhoods are starved of resources. And, we've been told for years, for generations, that the resources just aren't there. Well, now all of a sudden, all these resources are there. We still need the resources. So, like I said, it's a very contentious issue, but there's growing sentiment, at least this is the sense that I get among the voting population here, that, Johnson is in big trouble, man, politically, big trouble. There's even a move now to recall him. And I don't think that actually can be done, but legally, but they're thinking about changing the laws now, I think, in order to allow that to be done, because the anger over this issue is so intense. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. Do they have a legitimate beef? Do they have a legitimate gripe about what's going on with the migrants? Johnson had imposed a 60-day shelter limit, but like I said, that's just kind of like moving the people from one place to another, because, and really, that's a limit that he imposed on himself more than the migrants, because it's up to him to find a new place for them. So personally, that is not a political decision I would have made, because it's kind of like giving yourself a deadline. Now the migrants are being kind of shuffled around from one place to another. Like I said, about 3,000 of them have left Chicago or have requested to leave, but there's still 27,000 some here. And two, just to make a distinction between the term migrant and immigrant, really a lot of these people are immigrants, not migrants. Migrant, the implication is that they're here temporarily, that they're just like passing through. What a lot of these people say is that they have no intention of leaving. So it's not migration, it's immigration. I don't hold it against them. I would do the same thing. Like I said, my family did do the same thing. A real unusual occurrence for Chicago politics, because this has been a Democratic stronghold going back since before I was born. They call it the Democratic machine here, because it's like you can't really function independently within the system here in Chicago. Like, you have to be part of the machine. It's not, a bunch of people like doing their own thing, playing 1-on-5. It's like, if you're not playing as a team with the Democratic Party here, you have no career. Like, you have no chance. And there's been a lot of corruption. Now, there's corruption in politics in general. Republicans have plenty of corruption too, like rampant corruption. There's been a lot of that in the media lately. But here in Chicago, it's like part of the culture of the city. And it's well known. I remember when Rod Blagojevich was getting sentenced, and one of the other Chicago politicians got up and said, like all you guys pointing your fingers at him and saying shame on you to him are hypocrites, because there's a lot of other people in here that could be going to prison with him if the stuff that you did was uncovered. So, I mean, here in Chicago, it's like a culture of corruption. Now, I'll say it's gotten better. When I was a kid, it was like they didn't even try to hide it. You know what I'm saying? People would be talking about the corrupt stuff openly, like to the media, and it's like nothing would happen. You know, you'd have the police working with the mafia, you'd have politicians working with the mafia, you'd have, seats on a council that were like, it had to go to somebody that was in like the mob's pocket. I mean, Chicago was just like insane like that, man. So today it's a lot better. It's improved a lot, but progress is slow. And one of the I do consider this corruption. It's not officially, it wouldn't officially be labeled corruption, but there's one other thing, that people really haven't articulated. It's kind of politically incorrect to articulate it in the media or in political discussions, but the migrants, okay, that are coming here that have not yet gotten work permits and gotten some type of employment like that, they're in the same lane when it comes to like hustling and making money as a lot of black guys in Chicago that maybe can't get work because of the way the system is set up, with like having a criminal record or being unemployed, and they're in the streets hustling. And I don't mean hustling as far as selling dope. I mean just like other types of less lucrative hustles that just make you barely enough to get by. They've hopped into that same lane. I've talked to guys personally, and these are black guys that I've known for a long time. Like that, I mean, they'll be out on the corner or out on the street, hustling, trying to get some money just so they can keep on, barely making it. Okay, like barely making it, like paying rent, getting food, and suddenly, like they have nowhere to do this because it's like the area has just been flooded by people doing the same thing. A lot of people selling candy, and I mean that's my uncle used to do that. I mean, when he first left Greece, he was out on the street selling candy. That's what a lot of people do, and it's good. It's it's not selling dope. It's not doing something like destructive. But there's been such an influx of competition in that lane, and this is a lane like on the bottom. So this is all the way on the bottom, okay, and the competition has just soared with the migrant crisis. It's like now you can't even find a corner that's unoccupied downtown to even like panhandle. You go downtown, every corner has got somebody on a corner like with candy or something, and it's like nobody can make money. But the guys who used to play music, street perform, beat buckets, all that, like that lane has been totally saturated now. One of the hustles, and this is a pretty big hustle for like young black guys here in the city. They'll go around with a clipboard and say that they're raising funds for something. There's a lot of young black guys I see doing this now. Like they're out there, and some of it may be legit. I don't know, but I mean they're out there with like a clipboard saying I'm raise money to stop the violence or raise money for this or that. Can you donate something? Here's my Cash App. Okay, well it's like these dudes are trying to do this now, and there's like 100 migrants around them, like selling various things. And there's a such thing as like charity exhaustion with the people, okay, in the population. Like they're donating to this person, that person. And now all these people are in competition for that person who's just having, has a heart to, give a few bucks or whatever. And it's making it harder for everybody. Now, listen, like I said, my uncle did this. All of us, at some point have been at that level as far as immigrants, but this is what the mayor is facing now. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong in this issue. Like I said, everybody's got their own point of view. You guys let me know what you think, though, in the comment section, man. Very tough issue. Also, let me know what you think the solution is to this. And I mean here, because what the federal government does is, I mean, that's them. But here we're, our next mayor, and really this mayor, is going to have to deal with this and figure out what to do. So, love to the migrants, love to the people who are voicing concern about it, but it's a tough issue, man. Boy, Chicago News, I'm out.